Hello, leader. Welcome back to another episode of the Fierce Factor podcast. It's Shannon from Team KLC, and today I'm here to share with you a preview clip from our recent 2025 Strategic Planning Masterclass. In this powerful session, Kaylee shared the 3 pillars of strategic planning success, covering topics like identifying what's truly important versus what's merely urgent, building the ecosystem and support systems that ensure long-term success, and equipping your team with KPIs and role clarity to propel results. She talks about how embracing the natural seasons of your business helps you make intentional decisions that drive your business forward. This episode is packed with actionable advice and powerful practical insights to help you engineer an environment where success becomes inevitable. And if you like what you're hearing, you can get access to the full masterclass for free at the link in the show notes or klcconsultants.com/masterclass. Without further ado, please enjoy this sneak peek into our 2025 Strategic Planning Masterclass with Kaylee Lindholm.
Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. When I first started KLC, my goal, right, when we looked to set goals, was to independently make as much money as I had made in my corporate leadership role. And it was pretty simple. I'd write my goal down on a piece of paper, and usually it'd be like, I hit 100 grand, let's hit 200 grand. I hit 200 grand, let's hit 300, right? And you just kind of do that and throw something out there. Or maybe how about 20% more revenue this year than last year? And then it just sort of happened. But over time, my goal turned into really a bigger mission that was based on making a big impact on change, on building a legacy. And as our business grew into multiple 6 and then crossed 7-figure mark, I had this rude awakening that I couldn't just kind of wing things like I did before, like scribble, scrabble some numbers around. I needed to really approach my goal setting differently. I needed to build a world-class team around me, and I needed to learn how to get everyone on track and pointed in the same direction. And go figure, being ambitious, goal-driven, hustler I was, as I'm looking at this chat and these comments coming in, I know just like you, I started off the year with really good intentions, and I would find myself putting in all the work, but putting off the most important, most game-changing initiatives that I knew in my gut would create the biggest impact in my business and life. And basically, that's why we're here today, because I've learned how to not just say these are my priorities and then fit them in when there so happens to be time in my schedule. But I learned how to actually commit to the things that were going to drive the needle for me. And we're going to actually spend time in my calendar creating space for the things that were important to me. So now we've all been there. We have this big goal. Maybe it's a fitness goal. And this year we're finally going to follow through, right? So January 1st, we're like flying out of bed, 5 a.m., getting to the gym. We start seeing results, right? Maybe it's like a little drop in water weight. We're like, yes, I feel empowered to continue on this fitness or nutrition program. And then we start to plateau. Y'all know this. Our body adapts to the new changes, and it again requires us to recalibrate our plan, and suddenly other priorities take over. And listen, this isn't just specific to diet. This is related to everything in life, especially in our business. And most importantly, the really big life transforming, business altering projects that take a long time and a lot of strategic planning, a lot of effort and input, we don't really see that right away. And no one really knows that you're doing it, right? So if you're writing a book, or like you're working to develop your industry thought leadership, or creating a proprietary method, maybe you're building this new solid referral network or partnership strategy, getting things in place to transition the team, to make some big pivots. These are things like rehabbing team culture, something someone recently said is a goal. These are things that are in our head, and nobody really knows, like we can't see it tangibly right now, nobody maybe even knows we're doing it. And so there isn't something we could like put on social, like, hey, look at me, check out me rehabbing my team culture. The things that are right in front of us that people put in front of us, we tend to make those our priorities. And then we don't create accountabilities for ourselves. We don't surround ourselves with the things and people and support systems that we need to make sure that we stay on track to those big goals. We don't really know. The outcomes are kind of unpredictable. Like we're not sure if it's going to work or not work. And so we're putting all this investment of time and energy and resources and money into this big thing, this big, huge, audacious goal that may or may not work. And it takes a lot longer than other things, right? So we end up getting sidetracked by what is ultimately urgent versus what is important. Most people are not really even willing to put in the time and effort to achieve these bigger projects, to really make them a priority. And even fewer prepare their ecosystem appropriately with the support that they need to truly make monumental progress in their business. And that's where the 3 pillars that I'm going to talk to you about today come into play. I'm going to just take a quick minute to read some of these big goals because I'm super excited. So I'm just going to kind of run through a few of them. Building wellness and longevity as part of a practice. We got hiring more people, growing our spa, increasing wellness, a lot of wellness. Double my revenue. Yeah. Expand our team reach, services, revenue. Oh, girl, Kristen. Our first $1 million year, that lights me up. That's such an amazing goal and milestone. Increase revenue and open second location. That's a lot. Lots of room to grow and build, continuing to expand locations. I love it. A lot of movement, right? No one said just chill out on my couch. What the heck? Oh, here we go. I got 5. See a work-life balance. I love this. Adding hormones. I still need to chill. Jessica wants to chill on her couch. Okay, guys, I love all these goals. This is amazing. But here's the thing, a little side swipe here, you guys, because I know I'm not alone here, right? We are certainly here for wanting to set a goal and hit a goal. And we have these big ideas and these big visions for ourselves. What I really want us to do is to take the next 50 minutes so I can help you recognize and prepare for the things that might get in the way of you hitting those incredible goals. I want to help you get the strategic plan in place and get the wheels in motion to have an epic 2025. So in today's session, we're going to discuss the 3 pillars of strategic planning success to help you put some context around what strategic planning actually means. We're going to do this through identify how 3 pillars of success will massively impact your ability to stay on track. Recognize the difference between what's urgent and what's important in your business, and learn how to resource yourself with the support that you need to thrive. Okay. The reality is this masterclass isn't actually about setting goals. One thing I already know about you, all of you guys here, is that you have a lot of goals. Instead, we're going to talk about which goals we need to be focused on that will actually drive the results that you're looking for in your business. And I'll teach you how to apply constraint to stay focused on those goals that matter. Most of us just think to ourselves, well, my goal is to do better this year than last year. Or how do we increase revenue? But what we fail to do is equip ourselves with the resources to thrive in the season of growth that we're in. So it's a little different approach than you guys are used to hearing about. So why are we actually here? I know you guys aren't here because you just want a strategic planner because you can just go to YouTube and get a strategic planning presentation or get a to-do list of things to do. You guys are all really successful business owners here and have really big ambitions. Maybe someone made you come. I don't know. Maybe you love hanging out with Team KLC. Why you're really here is that you want to make 2025 different than what 2024 is. And here's what I know. The formula to develop and align a strategic plan for your business doesn't require a 10-page or 25-page spreadsheet or a Wharton MBA. It requires you to make the fundamental mindset shift around what your true priorities are and how you will set boundaries, outsource support, and eliminate the distractions for you to get there. Because you're brilliant and you have those answers. You just need to eliminate the things around you that are going to get in the way. The point is, it's not about setting goals. It's about engineering an environment that makes success inevitable for you. Write that down. I'm going to engineer an environment that makes success inevitable for me. So how will you make 2025 different? Speaking of your environment, do you know that we see about 17,000 messages in a day? And the average employee experiences 15 interruptions per worked hour, which means they're getting distracted every 4 minutes. 40% of us do not have a single opportunity to focus for a continuous 30-minute period during our workday. Is this shocking to you guys? So here, you might be distracted yourself. You might have your phone out. You might be multitasking. This is the point. We need to be disciplined to focusing on the things that we know are important, and we need to create an environment to support our team in that process. What's happening probably as we speak is social media happening, team questions, patient issues, reps popping by, reminder emails, advertisements, random thoughts in your head if you even have time. Just by the way, that thing's noodling all day long. So the point is, we don't have a plan to keep us on track. The goal will be irrelevant. Today, we're going to talk about the 3 pillars to strategic planning success. I routinely talk about the concept of a life-first business. And I don't say this because I have a personal opinion that you should build a business to support your life. Although I do think if you're going to be filthy rich, you might as well have the time and relationships to indulge in your wealth. I talk about a life-first business because if you're going to do big things in the world, it's going to impact all the areas of your life. Not to mention if things are a mess at home, or you have an apathetic team that doesn't see themselves as key integrators of the vision of the company as entrepreneurs, then they will drain your business and as a result begin to drain you and your love for your business. I'm not putting this just on the people, but it's important to really think about the ecosystem that's around you. It's not optional, it's actually critical. And each of these 3 pillars, business focus, team focus, personal focus, equally contribute to the potential for an epic year for you and an epic life. Let's be real, whether you're an owner or you're an employee. Let's start by talking about business goals. Perhaps at one point when you built your website, some marketing company wrote down a mission statement for you and you filed it away in a drawer somewhere. That's the case. That's all right. But it's really time to revisit who you are as a company. So I even ask myself every year the same series of questions that you see here. What is the business that we strive to have? Because here's the thing. We're growing and changing and shift shaping all the time. The environment around us is changing. So we might be in a place that we finally are getting to where we had set out to go 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And now we're here and it's like, I don't want to be here. That was my experience in corporate. I climbed that ladder. I left a big salary to make no money, actually to go into negative, to start my own thing. But I had to take a minute to say, is it really the money I was after? Like, what am I actually chasing? Is the business evolving and growing in a way that makes me feel good, in a way that still supports my life, right? Or things might change at home. You know, the kids are getting older. How do I want to align with my life? What's the business I want to have? This answer is going to be different for everybody. As we're scaling up our systems, some of us are building our personal brand and thought leadership. I look at my positioning, right? Who do we serve? Who's my most valuable client? What do we want to be known for? What are my top 3 priorities? These are questions we're going to ask you in your planner because it's important for you to take that time to help recalibrate, to get level set with yourself on what you're actually looking to accomplish. Of course, we want to do it all. We've worked with many businesses who are trying to scale up with dysfunctional systems. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Most everybody here, when they talked about a goal, it wasn't like, I want to take 2 steps backward and rebuild my foundation. No, that's not fun. But I can tell you right now, as we scale all the bad with all the good. Meaning if we attempt to grow too quickly, we will also grow all the complexities and dysfunction and confusion. And so if you're scaling up in this scale stage, it's all about systems. We can't be in every season at once. The reality is we need a tremendous amount of focus to tackle the one thing without distraction. So I'd love to hear in the chat, when you think of these different seasons, what season are you in? What season is your business? Plan, grow, scale, or pivot. So a lot of you put your goals in there so you could simply look at the goal And then you can identify based on that. And as you're putting those in, I'm actually going to walk you through what each of these seasons means to me. So the first season is to plan. And this season involves strategic preparation and goal setting. An example would be developing a detailed business strategy, building the infrastructure for a new division of business. We're really setting in the focus of now, what kind of plan are we putting in place? Where are we going? The next season is grow. This could be focused on new client growth, upsells, cross-sells, referrals, pulling impactful levers to increase sales. So for example, could be launching a new membership or program or proprietary method, could be building out a referral program or investing in a new device or service. The next is scale. So this is increasing capacity and optimizing processes to handle greater demand. So an example activity would be investing in a technology and hiring additional staff, developing automations to streamline efficiencies. A great example is work we're doing with our client in Utah, who's building new standards of excellence and operational accountabilities for her entire guest service team in advance of expanding. And then finally is to pivot. So this means making significant changes to the business model or strategy. That could include reevaluating your market positioning and potentially entering new markets or services. For example, our client in Charlotte is rebranding and relaunching her privately formulated skincare line, and she's focused on massive e-commerce expansion outside of her medical practice. These 4 seasons, by the way, are not a year each. It might be a week, it might be a month, it might be a quarter. But the point is to be focused on knowing where you are in what season. And I want to really encourage you all here because I see a lot of mixy matchies. I'm not calling you out, but this is really the point where what I don't want you to do is not honor the season you're in, right? We want to honor the power and beauty and importance of every season. So part of our strategy looks like sometimes relaxing into the season you're currently in instead of spending that entire season strained and stressed about getting out of the season you're in so you can get to the next one. And this is what we do, right? We're single ladies, right? We're like, I need a man. And then we want to get married and we're dating. And then we're like rushing to get married. And then we get married. And then we're like, I need babies. Then the babies are like barfing everywhere and like diapers. I'm like, can you just be a toddler already? Then they're running around and bumping into walls. And you're like, can you just get yourself out of bed and like let mom sleep in? Anyway, now I have teenage boys and I'm like, I swear I just rushed the entire, like every season, we're just rushing to get out of the next one. And then you look up one day and you realize there was beauty in every single one of those seasons. And I actually missed it because I was so busy trying to get out of the pain of the season. Life is 50-50 and there's going to be pain in every season, you guys. And honestly, the framework for success in the next season is being set up in the current season. So if we don't embrace and honor the season we're in, we're going to miss out on the scaffolding that is actually required to build and grow in the next season. It's that important. So I have a rock star client of ours, Jessica, and I'm going to give you some examples because I think it's important for you to really see in her practice, how did she honor her seasons and what was some of the pain points that she was feeling? I'm going to give you a few examples over the course of our presentation today of different clients we've had and clients that have shared their story on the Fierce Factor podcast. So you could go back later and kind of listen to them talk about their story as well. Jessica is a PA and owner of Beauty Culture Med Spa and Be Cultured Wellness. So she actually went through her own experience of doing this big pivot and launch of a new wellness division. She was rapidly growing her business into the multiple 7 figures. And what many of us would say our biggest fear happened to her. 2 of her top providers left and started their own business altogether down the street. And so, yes, let's all just take a big, deep breath and namaste for that one. And going through adversity just truly only made her stronger. Why? She was resilient and she was willing to take a step back and really evaluate how her growth had created an environment where she was lacking infrastructure to lead and manage that team and her client journey in a way that would foster a culture of shared growth, would ensure everyone was in line with her vision, and every employee was explicitly clear on what their job was in the organization. So she didn't grow her revenue in the same manner that year, You can listen to her podcast. She'll tell you what happened. But she set the foundation to catapult her business in the next year. So through that experience, she established robust systems to streamline operations, grew her leadership confidence, and built a team that had clear direction on where they were going to achieve the vision of the company. And then this past year, she launched a whole new division I anticipate will quickly cross the 8-figure mark in her business. So congratulations, Jess, as well. Pillar 2, team. Our team can only be effective if they are clear on what success looks like. Many of us struggle with productivity because our employees aren't 100% clear on what's expected of them every single day. And guess why that is? Because what we typically experience is a business owner who's focused just on growing her revenue or is stuck in the treatment room all day and as a byproduct neglects to train, mentor, develop, and appropriately praise and reward team members. And remember, I say this all the time that we have expectations of the people around us, whether we communicate that to them or not. A lot of times, though, we have shame or guilt or wonder if we should feel that way. And so we keep these expectations in our head and we never write them down. We are not clear about what we expect. People will be like, Haley, help me develop KPIs. And I'm like, okay, well, just write down, like, what do you want? And it's like, no, I need to know the KPIs. And I'm like, it's in your head. Like, what is the standard of excellence and what do you expect of everybody in your company? Then we can talk about the activities that align with that. So as the business grows, we can start to see this environment where the team members haven't necessarily grown in alignment with the company. And the people who were once a phenomenal culture fit and great employees, suddenly they seem like ineffective or apathetic. And you're like, what happened to that person? Like, that was my girl. And here's the reality. We need people around us who are not just supporting the person and the business that we are now, but the business we are becoming. And so it's a whole different mindset shift as we're growing and scaling up. Yes, my employees are great now in this role, but they're going to need to be a different kind of person, a different kind of leader and entrepreneur in their role, and probably going to have different set of responsibilities for the business we're building 5 years from now. So we want to be hiring and training and developing people to that 5-year business. So I'll sometimes just put on my 5-year future hat or whatever, and I'll look back and say, this conversation I'm having with this employee now, does this fit in with the business that I'm building or not? Like, is this an appropriate conversation? Am I constantly trying to coach somebody up to something that we're not getting to? It could simply be a misalignment, and that's okay. So as I'm building my strategic plan, I'm looking at the future company and I'm asking myself, who do I need on my team to fulfill that vision? And do I have those employees and how can I develop them? Or do I need to make changes? Sometimes that means making an investment in an employee who can help you build, right? And so this is a big investment that's going to help push a lever to grow so that they can grow and build the department underneath them. A lot of times we're just really nervous about our budget and cash flow. And the idea is we're pricing our services properly. We're building a lucrative, cash positive, profitable business. Each employee we hire should be producing 4x profit for their own role. And then we take those profits to hire again than the next employee. So employees should be looked at as an investment in the company, not as a cost. So I'm asking myself these questions. Who's the team I need? Are they clear on our mission, vision, and values? And do they know what results look like in their role? Again, these questions I'm asking you here, I want you just taking this in, take notes for sure. But I want you really grasping the context here of what I'm teaching so that when you work on your planner, you know how to be thinking of the context around answering these questions.
Listen, leader, if you're vibing with me here, hang tight because I have a brand new resource for you. You are a successful, confident, powerful woman who just isn't into being average. No, you have a calling, and part of that calling is requiring you to level up. And I know that if you're working across the next $1 million milestone in your business, you need to be in the right circles. And perhaps that's why you found us. I'd love to invite you to join The Blueprint, a weekly resource for inspired, provocative thinkers who are taking this conversation to the next level. Get access to free business tools, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me and my expert team. And of course, a masterfully curated circle of women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetics and wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to klcconsultants.com/blueprint. It's time to elevate. See you there, goddess.